station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. It's game number 3 of the 4-game series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Thursday night, game 1, Michael Wacha, magnificent in picking up win number 8. Last night, career-high 11 strikeouts for Carlos Martinez as the Cardinals came back in the 8th and won 2-1. And tonight, Jaime Garcia gets the call for St. Louis. With Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, my name is Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us on Fox Sports Midwest and St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And you think about Jaime Garcia, Tim, he's really stabilized this rotation for the Cardinals.
Well, a pitching staff becomes very, very competitive when they have to rely on each other. And Jaime Garcia, one of the surprising things about him, in his 3 starts, he's worked 20 innings. Do the math. That's almost 7 innings to start.
It's going to be a tough order for this lineup tonight because they've got Clayton Kershaw. They'll face him. Matt Carpenter has had success in the past against the lefty, and baseball is coming up. Dodger Stadium, T-Mobile game changers. What about Bob Gibson? Literally changed the game back in 1968. He went 22-9. The next year, they lowered the mound. Clayton Kershaw won the MVP last year. He was 21-3, but Clayton has had struggles against St. Louis.
Long fly ball, get up, baby, and stay buried. A home run, the Cardinals lead 1-0.
Kershaw pitches. Carpenter swings and hits a drive. It's in the gap, and it's down off the wall. Adams swings and hits a drive. Deep right field. A goner! 3-2 Cardinals in a magical 7th inning.
Hi.
Mikey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi there.
A look at one of the best in baseball. The Cardinals see him tonight. That is Clayton Kershaw. He's making his 12th start and a record of 4-3 this year. And Kershaw upset because he wants to get things going. Music is off. Peter Borges steps in, and away we go. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. 8th time that Borges has led off for the Cardinals this season, and at this spot in the lineup hitting .300.
And the only batter in the Cardinals lineup who's homered off Kershaw during the regular season.
Here's a 1-1. How nasty was that?
Oh, you even talked about it when Clayton Kershaw was warming up, throwing 3 curveballs, dropped off a mountain. Precipitous.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Peter Borges. And the fastball misses outside. All the great success that Kershaw has had, and yet 1-7 in his last 9 starts against the Cardinals. 48-16 against everybody else. Breaking ball again popped up. This is Justin Turner, and he's got it for the out. Let's take a look at the St. Louis lineup tonight. And some of those left-handed batters will sit against Kershaw. Not, though, Matt Carpenter. Then Holiday, Peralta, Randall Grichuk, Mark Reynolds, Yadier Molina, Pete Kozma, and the pitcher Jaime Garcia. He's 0 for 6 to start this year.
A rare 0 for Matt Carpenter last night. However, he drove in the winning run with a sac fly in the 8th inning.
If there's an at-bat that defines Matt Carpenter, go back to Game 6 2 years ago against Clayton Kershaw. 8 foul balls, 11 pitch epic at bat that resulted in a double to right. It sparked a 4-run third inning, a 9-0 win for the Cardinals. They batted around against Kershaw and headed to the World Series. And how good was Kershaw that year? He had allowed 4 runs in only 3 of his 33 starts.
Man.
Carpenter with 1 hit in this series, and he fouls it back. Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal of Clayton Kershaw, presented by Hyundai.
See that second department slider that was taught to him by Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach of the Dodgers 3 years ago, and Joe Torre telling us last year that that's the final thing in the puzzle that Kershaw needed. He needed another breaking ball other than the curveball, which is Koufaxian. There's Rick Honeycutt, one of the best in the business.
He told us that he grips it a certain way. It was in a bullpen session in Chicago where he learned it 3 years ago, as you mentioned. He has comfort with that grip and then throws it as hard as he can with that slider. Chopped to the right side and foul. Carpenter also an epic at bat last year against Kershaw in game 1 of the comeback win for St. Louis. He had the Matt Adams home run later in the series. What a great hitter, great player Matt Carpenter has turned out to be.
Some battle here between the game's best. Carpenter, Kershaw.
1 ball and 2 strikes. 5 for 18 in the regular season against this left-hander, who, by the way, made his major league debut against the Cardinals. A 27-year-old from Dallas, Texas, Clayton Kershaw. And he hits Carpenter. That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Defense behind Clayton tonight with Chris Heisey in left, Jock Peterson in center field. Yasiel Puig has been activated from the DL. He's in right. Alberto Callaspo, the third baseman. Jimmy Rollins at short. Kiki Hernandez at second. Justin Turner at first. And A.J. Ellis is behind the plate.
A 95-mile-an-hour fastball looked like it got Matt Carpenter on the elbow, the right elbow, right above the elbow. That's that nerve center right there. If it hits just right, if that's the term, it hurts.
Here's Holiday. A .426 on base percentage. Tops on the club. A couple of hits in this series.
Notorious first ball hitter also. Matt Holliday does not wait around. That unusual stretch movement. No other major league pitcher stretches like Clayton Kershaw.
Could be 2. Out at second, out at first. 4-6-3 on the double play. Started by Hernandez. The turn by Rollins. Over to Justin Turner. Northwest is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Well, Tim, we were talking about it, how Jaime Garcia has been a boost to this rotation of the St. Louis Cardinals. And here's the 9 that he'll face tonight. Jock Peterson, Chris Heisey, Yasiel Puig, Justin Turner, Kiki Hernandez, Jimmy Rollins, Alberto Callaspo, A.J. Ellis, and Clayton Kershaw. Jaime is 1-2.
A major league manager knows that he's got something going when he's looking out there and the guy on the mound is saying, oh yeah, I can beat that. I can beat last night. That performance by Martinez. Mike Matheny, a catcher, of course, 4-time Gold Glover, understands that. Pitchers, more than any other guys on the rosters, compete with each other. And the Cardinals have that going right now. And it's I'll tell you, it's an artistic thing to watch day in and day out.
Martinez, the key play in the game, arguably the double play that he was a part of with the bases loaded. Cardinals turned a 3-6-1 double play, and then he settled in and struck out 11. A career high for Carlos Martinez.
Including that double play, Carlos retired the last 17 of 18 Dodgers last night. Remarkable.
Here's the double play again from last night. Boy, is he quick or what?
Like a cat.
Strike 2. Jock Peterson leads the Dodgers in home runs with 17. It's second best in the National League, one back of Harper and Stanton, who now has 18. In the air out to center field. Borges coming on, and he won't get there. Peterson fights it off in a leadoff single. The Hyundai pitch arsenal this year for Jaime Garcia.
You know, only power hitters get hits like that because you've got to play them deeply initially, and outfielders simply can't get the balls off the handles.
It's a $200+ million payroll for the Dodgers tonight, and it's no disrespect to these players, but Chris Heisey, Kiki Hernandez, Alberto Callaspo.
I get your drift.
Heisey came over from Cincinnati with a deal back in December. Double play ball. Peralta bobbled it initially. The turn, though, by Cosma, and a double play. Cardinals defense tonight with Holiday, Borges, and Grichuk in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta, Cosma, Reynolds on the infield. Molina behind the plate. Dobbs Tire Auto Center's defense.
Our high school coach, a man by the name of Tom Nix, high school football coach, used to say, play for and make the breaks. One comes your way, score. Well, the Cardinals throughout this last month have really had breaks. They've had a lot of balls hit hard at guys to turn double plays, and that was yet another one.
And a strike to Puig. He's only played in 11 games this year. 279, couple of home runs, and 4 RBIs. Big breaking ball from Garcia.
Real good curveball from Jaime on that last pitch. Watch Puig way out in front. He might see that one again.
And he waves at that pitch and strikes out. First strikeout for Jaime Garcia. No score from Dodger Stadium. shortstop Johnny Peralta. As we turn to our Toyota keys, Johnny will lead things off.
Well, Toyota's key to the game. Best record in baseball have the Cardinals against the best pitcher in baseball. Only 4-3 this year, but he can heat up with the best of them. That stuff he's throwing out there tonight is nasty.
Tim, think about last year. He goes 21-3 and missed a little over a month of the first portion of the season. Here's the 0-1. You mentioned the other night, every time Michael Wacha goes out, every fifth day, there's excitement around what he could do.
Excitement in the air, right.
Same thing with Clayton Kershaw.
No question. Got that unusual delivery where the right leg goes up in the windup, and then the foot almost touches the ground, and then he looks like he's been out in the rain with his right foot, and he's just entering his house, kicking the excess rain off. Watch.
Very unusual.
Mm-hmm. His stretch is unusual. That right leg kick, here it is again. Watch. Not quite to the ground. And his stuff is unusual.
Here's a 2-2. First strikeout of the night for Clayton Kershaw.
Right fielder number 15, Randall Grichuk.
Think about his control too. That's his 91st strikeout of the year with only 17 walks.
You may notice too where he stands on the mound. It's now more towards the middle, slightly at first base once the windup begins, and that was something that Rick Honeycutt changed along the way with Clayton Kershaw. Notice that Clayton was standing too far towards the third base side of the rubber, and what would happen, this would cause his curveball to break out of the zone off the plate
inside,
and hitters just wouldn't offer at it.
Right.
Clayton telling us last weekend in St. Louis, initially he was resistant to change. He did it, started having success. And then Honeycutt added more. It was step by step with this. He said, I've got evidence of why you need to throw your curveball more for strikes. He showed him Nolan Ryan's pitcher's Bible. And it said if Nolan Ryan didn't get his breaking ball over for a strike more than 50% of the time, he would lose. That was a base hit for Randall Grichuk.
An example of that was when Nolan Ryan pitched in the National League. He couldn't get his breaking ball over at all. 69, 70, 71. And then after he was traded to the Angels, he started throwing his breaking balls more for strikes, and that made that 100-mile-an-hour fastball look like about 150. And he became the Hall of Fame pitcher that he became. The most strikeouts ever.
And Clayton from Texas knew all about Nolan Ryan. He said, okay, now you've convinced me. If Nolan Ryan says it, I'm doing it. Here's Mike Reynolds, who is 1 for 8 in the series. Clayton was the 7th overall pick back in the draft of 2006. Luke Hochevar was first overall to the Royals, now working out of their bullpen. The names ahead of Kershaw: Greg Reynolds, Evan Longoria, outstanding third baseman with Tampa Bay, Brad Lincoln, Brandon Morrow, and Andrew Miller, all ahead of Kershaw. Cardinals, by the way, picked 30th in 2006 and had Adam Ottavino. 0-2 the count.
Sorry for the oohs and the ahs, folks. I have a chance to see this every night.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Reynolds.
I know you've heard this story several times, I'm sure, but behind every good man is a woman, and behind every good pitcher is a catcher. Clayton Kershaw throwing to Matthew Stafford, fine quarterback for the Detroit Lions in high school.
Highland Park High School in Texas. On the outside corner, second strikeout. That high school has produced some football legends.
Really?
Doak Walker.
Wow.
Bobby Lane. And as you mentioned, Matthew Stafford.
Bobby Lane with no face guard.
How about that, huh?
Played in the NFL for what, 18 years with no face guard.
Highland Park High School in Texas. Here's Yadier Molina. 1 for 5 in the series. Overall hitting .283, still in search of his first home run. He's driven in 20. We shade Molina to right field. This has to be a helpless feeling right now. You've got Kershaw. We've seen the breaking ball is great tonight. He's throwing mid-90s, and you're in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know who came up with that term, 12-6 curveball, but what an apt description of very few pitchers. Koufax was like that. Kershaw certainly in that group. 12-6 curveball.
For our younger fans or those that don't know, just imagine the clock.
Sure.
The 12 to the 6.
Mm-hmm. Not old enough to tell time yet.
Essentially, I'm talking to my kids right now.
Find out. I know you are. I was trying to help. But I'll cease the tutelage.
You knew where I was going with that.
I certainly did.
If I could just see my kids right. Wait a minute. Mom, we have digital clocks. What's he talking? All right, hold on.
Oh.
Here's the 0-2 to Yadier Molina. And a strikeout. He strikes out the side here in the top of the second. A lot of postseason hardware for Clayton Kershaw. No score.
You know, Danny, Mike Matheny says he has a ton of respect for Clayton Kershaw, but he says the way that the Cardinals have handled him in the past is also part of the equation tonight. Kershaw's 0-4 against the Cards over the last 2 postseasons. Mike says people were writing off the Cardinals in both those series nationally. Mike said, quote, "The rest of the world was waiting to see how badly we'd get beat up." He says each game is obviously different, but Mike said having gotten to Kershaw is something to tuck away in the memory bank, and in terms of confidence, it can only help, Dan.
Jimmy, there was a celebrity softball game before the action tonight as Justin Turner digs in. I'm sure you were loving that.
Yeah, Larry King was part of it, and playing at age 81, he's still a huge baseball fan. He's at Dodger Stadium all the time. He grew up in New York and saw a lot of games. He told me if Stan had played in New York, he'd have so many monuments built in his honor, you couldn't count them. He said Stan was the best player he ever saw play. Alan Thicke, also in the celebrity softball game. Some say he and Tim McCarver look somewhat similar, maybe separated at birth. Dan, I'll let you decide about that.
Tim?
Well, I've been told that too. And Alan Thicke said that he had been told that.
So you guys met before the game?
The first time I'd ever met him.
But there it is.
I don't think it. I know one thing. I dress better than Alan Thicke. But I think anyone would in that picture.
You've also been told you look like Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis,
yeah.
Yep. Huey Lewis told me around the batting cage in AT&T Park in San Francisco, he said, "After meeting you, I'm not too sure that that's a compliment."
There's Mary Hart. She's at the ball games a lot here in Los Angeles. By the way, for fans that don't know, Jim Hayes comes from an entertainment background. We're being serious here. His dad was an entertainer, a showman, a singer in New York. Late break and the catch made by Holiday. And when Jim talked to Larry King tonight, he said, "Did you know my father?"
Number 14.
Larry King not only knew his dad, but started singing the song that his dad had produced.
Really?
And sung it. Yeah.
How about that? That's impressive.
You didn't realize we're traveling with a star like Jim Hayes.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that song was called "The Old Master Painter," and Larry knew it. I was shocked by that. It was some years ago, fellas.
The Old Master Painter from the hills far away.
Yes, sir.
Well, then you've listened to Jim's dad as well.
Well, evidently, I love that. I love that song. But I think I'm telling my age when I talk like that, which is okay.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Here's Kiki Hernandez. 2 balls and no strikes. On the bench tonight, Andre Ethier, Adrian Gonzalez, Howie Kendrick, Alex Guerrero. He had the 10 home runs, and their everyday catcher for the most part this year, Yasmani Grandal. Into right field, coming on, diving for it, in and out of his glove. It looked like Randall Grichuk. Great effort. Comes up just a bit short. And the second hit tonight for the Dodgers.
Randall has perfected that dive to where he's not going to get hurt on that play. That's the concern of the Cardinals. But this ball looked like he had the glove. He didn't know whether to turn it with the back of the glove toward the ground or to go at it full bore. Tough play any way you look at it. But we've seen that's one of the few he's missed that he's dived for.
Here's Jimmy Rollins, who's 1 for 7 in this series. We were talking with Randall, and it surprised many around baseball that he wound up in St. Louis because he was so highly thought of when he was drafted by the Angels, first-round pick. And he said, I feel that maybe the organization gave up on me because I had had a couple of injuries. One was a thumb injury. Another one was a wrist injury. And to hear him say it, he was surprised that the trade happened as well. Came over with Peter Borges.
He's upset with himself right now, not catching that ball. You could see that on his face.
Nothing at 2 the count. on Jimmy Rollins. Strikeout number 2 tonight for Jaime Garcia.
Concerning Grichuk,
Number 5.
I would imagine that wrist and or thumb injury came from plays similar to one he just didn't make.
Diving head first, and at that time it was diving into the bag. So he was running. But yes, similar type play, diving head first. Alberto Callaspo appearing in his 8th game with the Dodgers and hitting .308 so far. Played in 37 games with the Braves, hit just .206, and he was part of the Juan Uribe deal.
Perhaps you saw Randall Grichuk looking toward the Cardinal dugout. He's checking out Chris Maloney, who is responsible for outfield defense. Jose Oquendo for infield defense. Chris moving Grichuk toward the line. And what a coach does in situations like that, you try to do it as early after the pitch as possible, so the outfielder can zero in on the hitter.
And the outfielder's positioning will change, dictated by the count.
Sure. For instance, to explain that a little deeper, when the count is 1 ball, no strikes, 2 balls and no strikes, 3 balls and a strike on a hitter, you have a tendency to play him to pull. If the count is 0-1, 0-2, the deeper in the count the hitter gets, the more away from the pull side of the field outfielders are prone. Some hitters do it more than others, but that's the intent behind everything. Follow the count.
1-2 pitch. There's Peralta and a flip to Pete Kozma. The Dodgers strand a runner. We played 2 from Dodger Stadium, and there's no score. Steel outdoor power equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Beautiful night here in Los Angeles. There's Larry King. His talk show with CNN is done, but he still does an interview or two for Dodgers Vision. And also a little bit on their pregame show, so he stays still in the business. Here's Pete Kozma. There's so many things that happened in the 8th inning of Game 2 of this series last night, and one of the key moves was Pete Kozma coming in and running for Yadier Molina.
No question. Molina leading off the inning by walking.
That's out of play. And what we saw then was a ground ball that was hit up the middle. Either way you look at it, it would have been a close play, but I think we both felt if Molina's running, he would have been out.
Jimmy Rollins diving for the ball. He caught the ball. He tried to backhand it to the second baseman. Had Molina been running, he would have taken his time and made sure that he got the lead runner, but he couldn't afford it with Kozma running.
Pete Kozma's hitting 116, and we just showed you he's 4 for 5 off of Clayton Kershaw with 3 doubles. Go figure. Ooh, look at that pitch. Wow. 4 strikeouts tonight for Kershaw. He has struck out 4 the last 5 he's seen. Join Fox Sports Midwest and the Rams tomorrow for the Fisher and Friends softball game at T.R. Hughes Ballpark, home of the River City Rascals. Purchase tickets, visit stlouisrams.com. Here's Jaime Garcia. Inevitably, Tim, left-hander, pitching for the Dodgers, winning Cy Young awards. The comparisons will be there to Sandy Koufax. How do you look at the two?
He's not as good as Koufax.
That's simple.
It's that simple. Sandy Koufax won 3 Cy Young awards when they were only giving 1 in the major leagues. All 3.
It's sharply to short. Couple of hops. There's Jimmy Rollins.
And that is not by any means taking anything away from Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw is only 27 years old. He just turned 27 in March. He already has 32 double-digit strikeout games, and that ties Don Drysdale, who pitched 14 years in the major leagues. So I mean, his numbers speak for themselves, but there is only one Koufax. And I'm not saying it because he was a pitcher that pitched in my day or any of that nonsense. I mean, you look at what he did, just phenomenal. And as you mentioned last night, had to retire at age 30 and entered the Hall of Fame as the youngest player ever to be admitted in Cooperstown.
36.
Right.
The Dodgers added Sandy Koufax to the rotation after an ankle injury by sending Tommy Lasorda to AAA. Think about that. 0-2 pitch. Goodbye. Strikeout of Borges. And Kershaw is locked in. You're with us. Along with Tim McCarver and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. American Pharaoh, the first since 1978. There have been 17 batting Triple Crown winners. Last Miguel Cabrera to do it in 2012. The Cardinals have had 3, Medwick, Hornsby, and O'Neill. We were watching the race here, and I thought my partner was
I loved it.
Going to lose it up here.
Oh, it was wonderful.
That was exciting, wasn't it?
It really was. Everybody talking about Pharaoh's chances of winning because of the longer race. What a thoroughbred. What else are you going to say?
Tim, I read a thing, and here's A.J. Ellis, an article after the race today. It said Secretariat would have defeated American Pharaoh today by 12 lengths. They had broken it down.
That is a great line. That's fabulous.
It's incredible
to remember. My gosh.
With the times, and they broke it down with the video.
Oh.
They said Secretariat would have won by 12 lengths.
1973 won by 20 lengths, I believe.
The 2-0 is chopped to short, taken there by Peralta, and A.J. Ellis is the first out here in the third, bottom half. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true high definition on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just visit MLB.TV for details. Mentioned the other night, Rob Manfred was in St. Louis, the commissioner, meeting with both teams and also the media. He's talked about wanting to get the game younger fans involved, and promoting the stars of the game. And one of them is Clayton Kershaw. And the things that Clayton has done with his time and money in the offseason are truly life-changing for a lot of people. Amazing the works that he's done.
In Africa.
In particular there. He has built orphanages.
I think in Malawi, right?
One ball and 2 strikes. He and his wife Ellen. 2012 he was the Clemente Award winner. That's the game's top humanitarian. Not only did he build an orphanage for kids in Africa, now he's built their school. And a high strike on Kershaw. He won't argue. Third strikeout for Jaime Garcia.
What pitchers say when they're called out on pitches like that is, I want the same pitch.
You bet. And in steps Jock Peterson. 23-year-old from Palo Alto, California. Two outs and nobody on. Peterson a single to center field his first time up. We've only seen him briefly, but boy, ball just jumps off his bat, doesn't it?
It certainly does. For a young hitter, too, a good sign. He leads the National League in walks. Very important because he's young and selective. When you're young and selective, you're going to get better pitches to hit. Hitting coaches pay a lot of attention to that.
Oh, 2 pitch. Fouled back, and we talked to Mark McGuire exactly about that point. Young hitters that try to come up and compete at this level, just how tough it is for them. The pitching obviously is better. The control is better.
They'll take advantage of you if you swing at bad balls.
Exactly.
They'll get ahead with strikes and get you out with balls.
0-2 pitch.
Like that, or tried to.
I felt old the other day for the first time, I think, Tim. Well, a few other times I have too, but Mark was telling me his son Matt, remember when he picked up Matt at home plate?
Sure. Gosh.
He's almost 30 years old now.
Oh my gosh. What a curveball there.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Carpenter Holiday Peralta coming up. No score. With a Cardinals pet leash, compliments of Nestle Purina. They're available to 25,000 pet lovers ages 16 and older. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. The great history of the Dodgers organization. As Carpenter looks at a strike. Final game at Brooklyn, Ebbets Field in 1957. And their first game here in Los Angeles, April 18th of 1958. That's pulled foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Leo DeRocher and Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snider, Roy Campanella, Jackie Robinson.
Dodgers with 16 rookies of the year, including the first one in 1947. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, who was a track star here at USC or UCLA.
UCLA.
Right. Track star. He could do anything.
Did you know him well?
I did not know him well. I met him the centennial anniversary in Washington in 1969, where the All-Star game was played that year. I was introduced to him by Bob Gibson.
Bob had a great story in terms of meeting Jackie Robinson, and he said, I didn't really bother him. I didn't want to bother him, but I wanted to make sure that he knew how thankful I was and respected him.
Mm-hmm.
Changed the game. Six strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw. Struck out 6 of the last 8. Bob Gibson's lifetime ERA is 2.91. However, against the Dodgers, it was almost 4.
And they never had an offensive team when Bob pitched.
In fact, Atlanta, Cincinnati, and the Dodgers, the only teams that he had an ERA over 3 against in his career. Think about that. Only 3 teams. His Holiday seems to be all right. Chris Conroy taking a peek. Assistant trainer of the Cardinals.
Bob had a consecutive scoreless inning streak of 47 in 1968. And the only run that scored against Bob, the only earned run scored against him in 95 innings, it was to be 95 innings, was on a wild pitch. And Lynn Gabrielson scored in this ballpark.
Incredible.
Think about that now. 95 innings, 10.5 games, and 1 earned run given up. You can mull that over if you're a baseball fan or if you're a mathematician, if you're any walk of life.
I'm trying to process what you're saying. 10.5 games.
10.5 games. He gave up 2 runs, one of which was earned.
You'll never see that again.
No.
Here's Peralta.
And getting back to that competitive fire and fuel that the pitchers have had, it's competitive among the Cardinal pitchers right now. It's kind of an invisible thing. They won't admit it, but they want to go out and better the guy who pitched the night before. And they're doing it.
The starters have a 2.84 ERA collectively. The team ERA, the pitching staff as a whole, is 2.59. Relievers are 2.09. We keep giving you the numbers, but they're impressive. Very short lead at first. The 0-2 is in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Johnny Peralta.
Talked about it last night, how almost everything Johnny has been hitting is hard. The one thing that we've seen also is him go to right field with 2 strikes a lot. Makes almost every hitter better when you think that way.
Seven strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. Lowe's never stop improving. Lowest team ERA since 1915. It was the aforementioned 68 campaign that Tim was a part of. The 40s teams were championship teams. That decade was a very good decade for the Cardinals. And here's Randall Grichuk. Grichuk with a home run off of Kershaw last year in the playoffs. And he started every postseason game for the Cardinals. Chopped a single up the middle, first time up. And that's the only hit for the Cardinals. They have a walk. That's Holiday, and he stands at first. Carpenter was hit by a pitch back in the first inning.
Last night we talked about Randall's youthful exuberance, his youthful anxiety going out of the strike zone. And last pitch in the dirt.
To further your point, Tim, if he's going to be an everyday player, that'll be something that has to be improved upon in terms of strikeouts.
Yep.
Being selective.
You know, Branch Rickey, the famous Branch Rickey, who signed Jackie Robinson, used to say 3 little words: a good ball. I know that sounds so simplistic, but if you have that drilled into you when you're a young hitter, 3 little words: a good ball. You think about it, and you think about it, and the thought precedes the action.
Two-one pitch. Branch Rickey, by the way, at one point worked for the Brooklyn Dodgers for 8 years and was also working for the Pirates at one point in his career. He offered a $6,000 bonus to Don Drysdale to sign with Pittsburgh. His dad said no because he was afraid it was too much money and they would push him towards the major leagues too quickly. And that's how he wound up with the Dodgers.
What a great story. I've never heard that. That's wonderful.
He actually accepted less to sign with the Dodgers, $4,000 to sign with Los Angeles. And he joined the Dodgers, the irony of it, at age 19.
1956, I believe, right?
That's right. Ground ball that's hit to short, and a force play at second. We're midway through 4, and Kershaw has struck out 7. No score. And on StubHub, you can grab Cardinals tickets all season long, even at the last minute, and even if the game is sold out. It's StubHub. Cardinals have made a change. Matt Carpenter is out of the game. Colton Wong at second. Cosma moves to third. And remember, Matt was hit in the first inning, part of that 8-pitch at bat.
Hit right above the right elbow. That's a very, very painful area when hit flush.
It floats in for a strike to Chris Heisey. Here's the pitch. So Colton Wong is in. Heisey with a fly ball into center field. Catch made by Peter Borges for out number 1. Well, Jaime Garcia has 4 strikeouts. He's allowed just 2 hits, and he looks very, very sharp.
2 base runners. He's walked no one, and has really stayed ahead of the hitters. And as we said in the opening, coming into tonight's game, 3 starts and 20 innings of work. That is, the fact that he's gone deep into all 3 starts, very, very encouraging for Derek Lilliquist and the Cardinals.
Yasiel Puig struck out his first time up. Puig is really filled out from when he first came to the big leagues. It's a big man.
He looks heavier, and he is a big man. You're right.
Oh, 2 pitch.
I'm not saying that this is the case, but sometimes when young players go on the disabled list, they don't work as hard as they should, or they don't play every day, and sometimes they gain weight. And Yasiel appears to have gained weight.
Outfield is straight away and deep into 1-2. Late call and a strikeout. 5 tonight for Jaime Garcia.
Number 10, Justin Turner.
Arquilla in the driver's seat. Tudor, Brackeen, Garcia. Highest winning percentage. Minimum 100 starts. And a strike to Justin Turner, who flied to left his first time up.
What a curveball he's had so far tonight.
This is the best curveball he's had.
Absolutely.
So far this year. He's really taken something off it.
Well, again, there's the grip again. See, a lot of pitchers can throw the curveball the same way for 10 pitches, say. And each pitch be different because it's grip.
Pressure points.
Pressure points, yes. The tighter you grip it, the slower the pitch. That's a good way to remember it. They don't intend to do it. It just comes out of their hands like that. And there's no way that the grip's going to be the same for every curveball. Like that one. Now that was a tightly gripped breaking ball. You see, Carlos Martinez throws those. Yadier Molina has a tough time handling. Martinez with 4 wild pitches this year, all on sliders that are too tightly wrapped. It's a very fine, almost like a pianist.
1-2 pitch. Turner had to reach for it, tapped it foul.
Hitters sometimes will come back to the bench and say, took a little off of that one, didn't he? Guys will ask him. No, he didn't. He tried to throw it the same way he did the one before.
1-2 pitch in the dirt again. 2-2. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Johnny Peralta. And another 1-2-3 inning. 8 in a row set down by Jaime Garcia. pitchers duel here tonight, no doubt. This is fun. Garcia, Kershaw scoreless, the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and here's Reynolds. Ground ball, fair ball towards third. Callaspo, and the pick at first by Turner.
Boy, good play on both ends there. Wow. Caspo had to play Reynolds deep because of Mark's power.
Number 4, Yadier Molina.
He came actually in front of the bag, right near the bag. Watch how far he has to go to make that play. Backhanded it, short hop, picked by Turner. Very nice. All you could do is a guy who's 6'4.5" is to get down. Hope it doesn't hit you.
If Callaspo hit Kershaw, he might as well just turn in his uniform.
He traded back to Atlanta.
Exactly. There's that curveball taken low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Molina, who was caught looking back in the second inning. Kershaw has struck out 7. Right triceps contusion is what they're calling it for Matt Carpenter. I think we could have figured that one out. They always say it's day to day. Then I always say, aren't we all? Here's a 3-1. And a walk. So Kershaw has given up the 1 hit, but he has walked 2. And now the Cardinals have a man at first with 1 out here in the 5th. June 12th, Budweiser providing 25,000 fans ages 21 and older the 5th Stein in the championship series, which highlights the 30th anniversary of the Cardinals' '85 National League Championship team. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. Cosma struck out back in the 3rd.
Yadier Molina right now, and you're thinking about a base hit to right field. You've got to run on Puig. I know that sounds strange because he's got a strong throwing arm, but he's coming off an injury, a hamstring pull. And I've got to believe he is not full strength as far as his arm, and we talked about it. I don't think he's been working as hard on the disabled list as he was when he was an everyday player. Very few players do, but you take advantage of that. He's played, what, 11 games this year?
Yep.
Even though you're a slow runner, and Yadier Molina with 1 out, that's what you're thinking at first base.
One ball and 1 strike.
Because you're not going to have too many opportunities against Kershaw.
No.
Got to figure that, so you got to take a chance somewhere.
I just think in general, teams don't take advantage of outfield arms.
No question about it.
A lot of things have to happen right for you to get that runner. And whether or not it's Puig with a hamstring, I just mean in general.
Yes, right. I mean, you can count on one hand the plays that we've seen this year, either by the Cardinals or by a team that's playing the Cardinals, where there was a throw to second or third, certainly not home.
No.
Very few plays at home, but tag outs by infielders.
Boy, it is unique to see Kershaw come from the stretch position like he does.
It is, isn't it? He told me last year that it keeps him back. Keeps the weight on the back foot.
There's the breaking ball, and it's tapped foul. You'll also notice, as we had the chance to visit with him last weekend at Busch Stadium, when he comes to that set position, it actually is going a little bit, when he comes together with the glove and the pitching hand, a little bit towards the left shoulder. So it's even more exaggerated.
Yeah,
to keep it back.
He's a left-hander, and that keeps him back.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
You might be able to see it here. Stays back and then goes forward. And Kozma hits a high fly ball into left center field. So 2 down. And one of the hardest hit balls today against Kershaw was from Jaime Garcia with a ground ball to short.
Not a lot of loud outs on either side tonight.
And a ground ball to second. Kiki Hernandez. Cardinals strand a runner. They have stranded 3 tonight. We're midway through 5. Good ball game. No score. We will not have that for you. That game will be seen on ESPN. Our next telecast will be Monday from Coors Field in Colorado. But tomorrow night, great matchup again. Lynn and Greinke, along with Jim Hayes and Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles.
I don't know if you have the same impression that I do about this guy coming to the plate. This guy's impressed me.
Yes.
I mean, he's an alert ball player, and that alertness strikes you immediately when you see him play. He started at 6 different positions this year, and I've got to believe he's had a great background in baseball. I don't know a lot about him. It's only the 6th, 7th game we've seen him. But he was well schooled, I'll guarantee you that.
What I found really interesting is that Don Mattingly told us he is arguably their best defender in left field. He's played the infield in this series, and he started in left in the series in Colorado. And Wong can't get to it. A base hit off the end of the bat into right field.
And coincidentally, he has 2 of the 3 hits tonight against Garcia. Did hit that ball off the end of the bat, and Colton Wong just out of his reach.
Tim, he's only 23.
Yeah.
He was part of the D. Gordon deal with Miami.
he gets your attention.
I agree.
They're just some guys that, you know, if you're watching the game, if you care about the game and you're just watching, they'll get your attention. You don't know why. They're doing something different. He's either faster than you thought, he has better hands, throws better, hits better, runs the bases, something. He's a pretty good package.
And now Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy struck out back in the second inning. You know, you think about the Phillies, at least I do when I watch Jimmy Rollins. It's hard not to think of him as a Philly.
That's right.
And you just wonder if they waited way too long on some of these veteran players to rebuild. You know, you hold out hope that certain players will regain the form that they once had, maybe for one more year.
Guys like Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins.
And the problem is, if you hold on too long, their value is so diminished, you don't get anything back. Cliff Lee was another, and then he got hurt. You wouldn't think Cole Hamels finishes this year with the Phillies.
No way. Good hit and run position right here. You don't want to bunt with Rollins. Not going to get a pitch out. Rarely do you see a 1-0 pitch out. Hernandez is a pretty good runner. And the other thing to figure is the pitcher around the plate. If the pitcher's wild, you're not going to get the hitter a good pitch to hit. So he has to be a guy around the plate, or a guy that throws a lot of ground balls that Garcia's done this year.
One and two. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Can they turn two? The turn by Wong. What a turn it was. 6-4-3 on the double play. That's the second time that combination has turned a double play tonight.
How impressive is Colton Wong with that turn? Good throw by Johnny Peralta. Shortstop trying to give his feed right around the chest. He is so quick at second base.
I think he's an all-star this year.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Callaspo grounded to short first time up and looks at strike one. The other thing about Garcia this year, Tim, is that he's throwing much harder this season than we'd seen in years past. His velocity has been up around 92 to 93 consistently. That's 2 to 3 miles per hour faster than when we last saw him healthy. Good breaking ball. 0-2. Dodgers went 94 and 68 last year. And a fly ball out to left. Holiday initially broke back and then comes in to make the catch. Garcia, Kershaw, the story tonight. No score as we head to the sixth. of Fame and the annual induction process that gives fans a voice in honoring the team's greatest players. The sound system here is so loud I can't even read the promo. The 2015 induction class has been selected. The Cardinals and Edward Jones congratulate Ted Simmons, Bob Forsch, Curt Flood, and George Kissel.
It is a bit shrill here at Dodger Stadium.
Man. I'm back, though, Tim. We're okay.
All right.
Borges, Wong, and Holiday against Clayton Kershaw here in the 6th inning. And Peter has popped out to first and struck out. Kershaw has struck out 7. Allowed 2 walks. He's hit a man. That was Carpenter, and Carpenter is out of the game. Just joining us, he was hit above the right elbow and listed as day-to-day. Oh, 2 pitch. Goodbye. 8 strikeouts tonight. Chevy Fox Tracks and the big curveball here from Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers have not been to the World Series since 1988. That famous series of Kirk Gibson. The great year of Oral Hershiser in 1988.
MVP in the National League Championship Series and the World Series.
2 balls, no strikes. And one of the great mysteries, and I mean this sincerely, here in Los Angeles, from that famous night, is that no one knows where the Kirk Gibson ball is at. No fan has ever come out and said, I have it. No one knows. The famous home run from Kirk Gibson.
In this day and age when balls like that are sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Every baseball is marked. And certainly a postseason baseball is marked.
A World Series ball like that, as famous as that home run, one would think.
The 2-2 to Colton Wong. And it is a fair ball taken there by Turner. Race to the bag, and Kershaw beats Wong to first base.
I think the Cardinals may review this. Be a good one to review because of the speed of Wong, but Kershaw gets over there in a hurry. A delay underhand throw by Turner. He was out.
Sure was. Good call. It's Lance Barrett, the first base umpire.
The fielder, Matt Holliday.
I know that the Dodgers were upset with the umpires last weekend in St. Louis, and we saw Joe West and what he did with Matt Holliday this past week. I think the one thing that replay has really shown is that these guys are good. Really good.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, you'll have your hiccups here and there or a bad day. Everybody has that. But
right,
for the most part, they are really good at what they do.
They certainly are. Difference in that play was a size 13 beating a size 9.
Right. Come on, Colton, get some bigger shoes and bigger feet. Here's the 0-1. As the field tonight of one swing of the bat could be the difference in this game. Both pitchers are locked in. Holiday has bounced into a double play and also walked. Here's the 0-2. Back to Kershaw. Steps and throws and makes the play. We're midway through 6 in Game 3 of this 4-game series, and there's no score. In baseball this year. There's Clayton Kershaw on this list. Those are players to watch. Head to DraftKings.com and enter the promo code CARDS. A.J. Ellis, Clayton Kershaw, Jock Peterson for the Dodgers in the home half of the 6th. Garcia has matched up with Clayton Kershaw here tonight. And right with him.
Cardinals can vouch for that last graphic. They saw Corey Kluber on that, I think, Wednesday night in Cleveland. Whew.
Awesome.
18 strikeouts in 8 innings, right?
And he had 40 in 3 games.
Gosh.
Here's A.J. Ellis, who was born in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Played at Austin Peay, the Governors, which is in Clarksville, Tennessee, and that's Cardinals country. It was all conference, Ohio Valley Conference for the Governors.
That's Austin Peay, P-E-A-Y.
That's right. Longtime coach Dave Luce. He's a huge Cardinal fan. Popped up to the right side. Reynolds over and out of room. AJ is one of the real good people in the game.
He really is.
Here's a 1-2. Ground ball left side, cut off by Cosma. A strong throw to Mark Reynolds.
That was a good play. Cosma taking that throw because Johnny Peralta was going a bit toward third. Cosma's momentum was carrying him toward first base. Watch. Much easier play for Pete.
Pete has a really good arm, too. So 1 out, nobody on, and here's Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw caught looking back in the 3rd. Is it safe to say this is the best we've seen from Jaime so far this year?
I think so. Of 3 really good outings, though. Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about that cadence and gait of a pitcher a lot because it's so important pitching with a lot of confidence. Give me the ball, I want to throw it. We talked about the competitive edge each Cardinal pitcher has now, with everyone doing very well, wanting to beat the next guy, or the guy before, I should say, and making pitches like that when you have to.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
You're a pitching coach with guys performing like that, just say, let them go. All right, boys, have fun.
Kershaw puts it in play, and the short hop taken there by Kozma. Another good play. This summer, don't miss the Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinics presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. They're for boys and girls ages 7 to 13. Sign up now at cardinals.com/clinics. This is the major leagues. Plays like Kozma's there moments ago need to be made, have to be made, but they're not easy.
No.
That short hop there is a tough play.
Minor leagues, you don't see those plays made consistently. Up here, you do for a reason. They're better. Better players here. Best in the world.
The strike to Jock Peterson, who is singled to center and struck out back in the third. At one point, Garcia had set down 8 straight. Good breaking ball. Here's that play we were talking about here from Pete Kozma.
Suck it up, Pete. We used to call Dal Maxfield Hoover for a reason, after the vacuum cleaner.
You had the Zamboni and Kenny Reeds.
Yeah, Zamboni, Kenny, different names of machines because they are machine-like. All Dal Maxfield did was catch everything hit his way.
You had dinner with him last week.
I did. Yes, I did.
He's doing well?
Doing very well. The ex-Cardinal general manager, Cardinal shortstop, and great guy. Now, old Roomy.
How many years?
2.5. Room with Ray Sadecki initially, and then Dal Maxfield. And then Joe Torre in 1973 and 4.
And then at one point you were with Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker
early.
At home in 1964, yes.
Too bad you don't have any stories.
Can't tell any of them either. Shame.
Here, Kershaw, 1 hit allowed. Garcia, 3 hits allowed. No score, and it's the Gateway Honda home run inning. The Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is some game, huh?
It really is.
I thought last night was a great game, too.
These guys are dealing. Yeah, every game they played the Dodgers this year. Been just terrific games.
Breaking ball drops in for a strike to Peralta. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Kershaw with 8 strikeouts tonight. Up the middle, there's Rollins. 1 down. The Cardinals, I think it's a bit surprising. We've talked so much about this is a left-handed lineup primarily with Hayward when he's in there, when Adams was healthy. We talked about it a lot in spring training, but they are 7-5 against left-handed pitching this year, 30-13 against right-handers. The best record right now in baseball. Cardinals 19 games above the 500 mark. Pulled foul off the bat of Randal Grichuk for strike 1. We saw a 2-1 win last night for the Cardinals. When they score 3 runs or less, they have 13 wins this year. To further the point about just how well they have pitched. To the count. And Grichuk strikes out. That's number 9 tonight. The BJC Healthcare difference maker for the St. Louis Cardinals this season.
Mark Reynolds.
Late in games, 7th inning or later, Cardinals at 267. They've had late wins. They've won a lot of close games. But you're talking 7th inning or later, Tim. Those are the specialists, the closers. The strike to Reynolds, who's 0 for 2.
Tell you, if I'm Kershaw right here, there's a yellow warning sign in the mitt right now, because Mark Reynolds, more than any other Cardinal, can lose one.
(19 of 24 first pitch strikes). One ball and 2 strikes. Reynolds off the end of the bat. Little squibber that rolls foul. Kershaw is 3 over the minimum so far here tonight. He hit Matt Carpenter back in the first, and then Carpenter raced on a double play to end the inning. The only hit tonight for the Cardinals, Randal Grichuk, a base hit into center field. That was in the 2nd inning. The other base runners have been via the walk. Holiday in the 4th and Molina in inning number 5. On 1 and 2. Reynolds looks at a ball to even it up. Strikeout number 10. Time to stretch here at Dodger Stadium. The fastball. 10 tonight for Kershaw. No score. USA's first game as they battle Australia on Fox Sports 1. Plus games all weekend long on Fox, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, and streaming live as well. Mazda game summary. No score. Home half of the 7th rolls in. And the starters have been sensational tonight. Jaime Garcia and Clayton Kershaw. Here's Heisey, Puig, and Turner, 2, 3, and 4.
Cardinal pitchers have faced the Dodgers for 60 innings this year, and the Dodgers have scored 5 runs.
Five. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals have won 4 in a row coming into play tonight. Pittsburgh lost earlier today. They had won 4 in a row. There's a ground ball that's foul. To me, Tim, the Pirates, with the type of pitching they could throw out there, they'll be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, they're the most dangerous team, other than, of course, the Cardinals in the division. Certainly the biggest threat. Chicago is certainly a formidable threat, but a team that strikes out an awful lot.
Too much. They are already over 500 strikeouts as a team.
It's amazing.
And we're just 2 months into the season.
So also that Jorge Soler on the disabled list.
Yes. One, 2 is hit sharply past Cosma. Off the sidewall and taken there by Holiday, and it's a double for Chris Heisey.
Here's a guy who's guarding the line, too. Right on the line, and the ball hit so hard that it was just fair. Heisey hit the first ball hard tonight, hit into a double play. You could see Cosma on the line at third base, try to prevent a double, but the ball hit so hard. And it's biped. He had no chance to react to that ball. Reacting late, and understandably.
Leadoff double, now Puig. A dangerous man at the plate. He has struck out twice tonight. One ball, 1 strike. A lot of time missed by Puig, and it was a short stint coming back in the minor leagues. You've got to wonder about his timing at this point.
Sure.
And a base hit into right center field. Dodgers have the lead 1-0. And he'll stop at second base. A double, and it's 1-0 Los Angeles.
Yasiel Puig had been pulling off that pitch all night. And this pitch away, and he stays right on top of it. Tremendously strong. I mean, that ball got by Borges in no time. Peter recovering in time to hold Puig to a double as Heisey scores easily.
Turner is 0 for 2. He's flying to left and grounded out to short. Diving stop. No, he can't come up with it. Into center field it goes, off the glove of Wong, and Puig will score. 2-0 Dodgers.
It's going to go as a base hit, I'm sure. But had Colton Wong come up with that ball, and he's come up with balls like this all year, Puig is dead. Should be watching the line drive. The play's in front of him. You can see right there, if Wong catches that ball, it's a double play easily. But it's the Dodgers that got the break tonight. The Cardinals, we talked about it. The double play last night, nicely turned by Reynolds. Great momentum changer. Tonight in the first inning, the ball hit hard by Heisey. Momentum changer after Peterson was on. Now things have turned.
Maine is throwing in the Cardinals pen. Back-to-back doubles and the single by Turner. And here's Kiki Hernandez. Pair of singles tonight, 2 for 2. Going back to the original double to start the inning and seeing the reaction of Pete Kozma, that's one you know he would like to have back. Again, I'm not saying he should have had it. It's a very tough play, hard hit ball, but you could see in his reaction after that ball was hit, he was frustrated.
Well, there are a lot of white shirts down in that area that serves as the backdrop for the third baseman of both sides. And who knows whether that ball got in a white shirt or something like that. It only takes one. Maybe it happened. Believe me, I'm not making excuses or anything like that, but it looked like a delayed reaction by Pete.
And if you're Garcia, you're saying, man, I was maybe an inch away from a double play on the ball that's hit off the glove of Wong. So that's where some of this frustration may be mounting a bit here in the 7th inning.
Sure.
0-2 the count on Kiki Hernandez. Cardinals have turned 2 double plays tonight.
Also, in being fair, Dan, I mean, you know, when you follow the Cardinals on an everyday basis, you realize the Cardinals have been playing exceptionally well, but they've been getting breaks too. And when you play well, you do get breaks. Mike Matheny knows that. It's just simply not going to go your way all the time.
One-two, double play ball. Peralta flips to Wong. Oh, and a double play.
My goodness. Well, the momentum changed again.
Wow. How good was that?
What a play by Peralta. The dive, and the ball was, I think, it appeared to me that it was rolling around the glove a little bit before he could corral it. Hit very hard. Heard that old song, Shuffle Off to Buffalo? That was Shuffle Off to Colton Wong.
What a great play.
Oh, that was terrific.
So just like that, it's now 2 outs, and that's the 3rd double play with that combination tonight. 6-4-3.
I was wrong about that. That ball was not rattling around in the glove. But Johnny couldn't bring that right hand over. He just shoveled off from the glove to Colton Wong and rather easily turned. Great play.
And I think, Tim, that was the only way they would have been able to turn that double play with if he goes into the glove, that's maybe another step or two down the line at first.
That's exactly right.
1 ball, 1 strike on Jimmy Rollins, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and grounded into a double play. Clayton Kershaw has allowed just 1 hit tonight, 9 strikeouts. Cardinals have the bottom of the order coming up. Molina, Kozma, then Garcia's spot. And you would have to think not many more shots at Kershaw. This would be the final inning for Jaime.
pitcher spot due up third in the top of the 8th inning.
There's Cosma. 3 consecutive hits in the bottom of the 7th. Back-to-back doubles and a single and a 2-run lead. Fox Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. What excitement with the fantasy camp. My goodness.
Baby.
All right, thank you, Pat. Here is Yadier Molina. Molina, then Cosma. And Garcia's spot is due up. 1 ball, 1 strike. What a ball game this has been. Well pitched on both sides. Hanging breaking ball.
You hadn't said that much tonight, Dan.
No, sir. And Kershaw gets away with it. AT&T U-verse rewind. Yasiel Puig with a double into right center. And that would score Chris Heise. And then Turner, the single off the glove of Colton Long. And that's all the scoring here tonight. And a fan has made his way onto the field. And running in center field. And now slipping and tackled by about 3 or 4 different security guards and taken to the ground.
I've never quite understood how fans could cheer something like that. Some moron going onto the field. What an idiot.
We get asked all the time, why don't you show it? It is rule that we cannot. And Kershaw is asking if he can just have one warm-up toss, and he gets it. Cosma stepped out of the box. And so 1 out and nobody on. I think about it a lot in terms of what the player is going through when that fan decides to come on the field. What's he have on him?
That's right.
Is he coming after me?
That's right.
Remember the situation we had with the Chicago White Sox a few years ago, the first base coach?
Yes.
What a terrible situation that was. I mean, just think about that, though. You got some guy flying out of the stands, As Cosma lines it into right, there's Puig. And coming at you.
Don't think the players don't take that seriously.
You bet.
As much as anybody.
Well, that'll be it for Jaime Garcia. Tony Cruz will be the pinch hitter. Can't say enough about Jaime. I mean, he was pitch for pitch for a while there with Kershaw.
Yep, for 6 innings. Jaime pitched very, very well. And nobody's going to match. Very few people are going to match what Kershaw's done thus far in the game. Cardinals have 4 outs to tie it.
It was the 8th inning last night. The Cardinals down by a run and eventually won the game 2-1 on 2 runs in that 8th inning. Right now Kershaw is as locked in as we've seen him. 10 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed. He's walked 2, he's hit a man. Seth Maness has been throwing and he's ready to go. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the batter Tony Cruz.
Tony, a big part of last night's win also, a sacrifice bunt as a pinch hitter. Runners on at first and second, and the bunt successful. It set things up for the Cardinals to score twice.
.11 tonight for Kershaw. Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light. Reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. Well, it looks like that's going to be it for Clayton Kershaw. He was getting the high fives and the smiles and the handshakes. He is due up 3rd, but it looks like his night is through. And the closer is getting loose. Kenley Jansen for the Dodgers. Seth Maness, our Chevy, called to the pen.
Cardinals have had 2 games like that this year. One was pitched by Matt Harvey of the Mets, that first game of the 4-game series. Cardinals came back to tie it in the top of the 9th. They lost that game in 14 innings. But then it happened again in the 4th game of that series when Jacob DeGrom just blew him away for 8 innings. And Cardinals did not come back in that game, but DeGrom taken out of the game nonetheless.
A base hit by Callaspo, 1 for 3 tonight.
Number 17, A.J. Ellis.
Fox Tracks presented by Plaza Tire Service. So Jaime Garcia, Tim, tonight, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, struck out 6, and no walks. Boy, he pitched well.
Cardinals would take that performance every time out and take their chances.
Andre Ethier has moved to the on-deck circle. Here's A.J. Ellis. Cardinals have turned, 3 double plays. Ellis gets the bunt down. Manus to first. And an RBI opportunity now for Ethier. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Seth Manus, who know about the great sinker that he's got. And it's sinker after sinker when you think of Manus. And now Gonzalez steps out of the dugout. One of the top RBI men in the game right now. 39 for Adrian Gonzalez. So Ethier is pulled back. And Randy Choate.
Number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Starting to loosen, but is it too late? Belisle will start to throw as well.
Of course, of all the guys in the Cardinal bullpen, Randy Choate can get quicker, or can get ready quicker than any. More experienced.
Well, you've got Gonzalez here, and then Jock Peterson on deck, and we saw Randy Choate came in last night into the ball game and faced one hitter. It was Peterson, and struck him out. Do you pitch to Gonzalez here and maybe set up the potential of the double play?
I think Mike Matheny's going to make the move. I think he sent Yadier Molina out there. I'd pitch to him, but I wouldn't pitch to him with Manus. But now I'd walk him. But nope. He said, watch me.
I bet he gets maybe 1 or 2 pitches and then walk him, but it's all for naught. You know, you and I could sit here for 5 minutes and it took 1 pitch and a fly ball to left, and all of a sudden it's out number 2.
Well, I actually think Mike Matheny got away with one there.
Number 31.
By not having Choate up.
By not having Choate up and having Choate in the ball game. And fortunately for the Cardinals, Seth Manus, and I think that's indicative of that. Mike going out and making the move right now. That happens sometimes. You're not going to take your chances with that matchup, Seth Manus and Adrian Gonzalez. That's a bad matchup. A good low ball hitter. Manus has to be down.
And Randy Choate will face Jock Peterson. Struck him out in game 2 last night. It's our Chevy call to the pen with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So here's Randy Choate, 25th appearance.
Randy Choate, a left-hander who told Dan McLaughlin that he thought he could pitch until 50.
50. And I
That's
said,
great.
I said, you're kidding me. He said, no. He said, really, I think I could probably go to 55, but my wife will want me to stop by 50.
Eternally young.
You got it. I loved his answer, though. He said, they're going to have to tear the uniform off of me. I still love playing this game.
That's great.
The 23-year-old Jock Peterson against a longtime veteran, Randy Choate. Randy telling me the other day he feels finally that his slider is getting back to where it should be. He said this year it's been a little flat to start the season, but
he's been throwing more fastballs this year.
Yes, he has.
To left-handed batters. Matter of fact, he got Jock Peterson on a fastball last night. I think it was last night. It was either last night or the night before.
Oh, last night.
It was last night. Yeah. Yep. In the 8th inning.
2 balls and no strikes on Peterson. Belial is loose and ready to go for Heisey, you would think. Who's on deck if we get there. And a ground ball. Choate to the bag, and Peterson is the third and final out. We enter the 9th. Final home for St. Louis. 2-0 Dodgers. Saves a year ago for Kenley Jansen. Big guy, 6'5", 265 pounds. Our Chevy called to the pen, the 0 ERA. He's given up 1 hit, 6 innings. And the Dodgers got a scare on the most recent road trip with the heart condition, irregular heartbeat that he has dealt with in the past. Had surgery for that and was unavailable in the final game of that rugged series in Colorado.
The former catcher from the lovely island of Curacao in the Caribbean.
Pinch hitter is John Jay for the Cardinals. Jay pinch hitting for Peter Borges. And he looks at a strike, and we're underway here in the ninth.
Everything from Jansen hard.
There have been 4 Dodgers that have had 40 save seasons. Popped up, 1 away. Eric Gagne did it 3 times. Jeff Shaw, former Cardinal Todd Worrell back in 1996, and Kenley Jansen with 44 a year ago.
Justin Turner moving in at third base. He started out at first, expecting Wong to bunt. Cardinals trailing by 2, not a bad idea if you're Wong.
Talk about Jansen and a very good cutter. That's where you could see a left-handed hitter like Wong maybe getting jammed in those little bloop shots to left.
Yeah, well, it's almost what happened to John Jay. They got jammed too much.
Popped up. And it is playable for A.J. Ellis. And there's 2 down.
I'll tell you, Dan, you're exactly right. Those 2 fastballs ate up 2 pretty good hitters, John Jay and Colton Wong. Chewed them up.
Could see him sawing off a lot of bats. No surprise here, our Budweiser player of the game, Clayton Kershaw. 1 hit through 8 innings. The score holds. Kershaw goes to 5-3. Garcia 1-3. But Jaime pitched very, very well here tonight.
Yes, he did.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Holiday. Bat 0 for 2 with a walk. And another fan has made his way onto the field. And security will take him down as he slips and then driven to the ground face first. They're still attending to the fan in shallow center field. Now they pick him up and walk him through the gates in center field. The count is 1 ball and no strikes with 2 outs and nobody on here in the 9th inning. The last time the Dodgers beat the Cardinals and only allowed 1 hit, 1965.
Get out of here.
Drysdale over Gibson. That was with a 1-hitter. And Fernando Valenzuela no-hit the Cardinals here at Dodger Stadium.
What was the score of that 65 game?
2-1. You're still upset.
Yes.
The 1-2. Fouled back by Holiday.
What happened to us that time?
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Put in play by Holiday. Hustling down the line and a foul ball. Call made by Dan Iasonia, third base umpire. Fourth game with 10 strikeouts or more this season for Clayton Kershaw. It's tied with Max Scherzer, Chris Sale, and Corey Kluber for the most in baseball. Dodgers take game 3 and a called third strike. The save for Jansen. Puig the big hit. And the Dodgers hold on for a 2-0 win in game 3 here from Dodger Stadium. The strikeout, the inside corner to get Matt Holliday. Kershaw and Garcia were brilliant here tonight. The Dodgers win it by the score of 2-0. Postgame comes your way next.